Maybe what we can do is, I would love to know, we all get to a particular place where, we're talking about this subject and you're actually really, really good at it. People can talk about return on investment and they can speak in specific generalities, but they can't get down to the brass tacks of it. I just want to know, why do you know so much about this? Like, why, how did that happen? You just didn't fall out of a tree and come to enlightenment. What was your path to understanding ROI?
Well, it's interesting. I've been pulling together ROIs the majority of my career, first in the IT world. And I've got to tell you, I really stunk at first at pulling together ROIs. When I took a look at it in the IT world and looking back at some of my first business cases, no wonder the CIO never signed off on much of what I was proposing, because I was like, hey, so we need to replace this IVR that's end of life. And so here's the maintenance we pay today, and here's what we need to invest to really move forward. But what I missed was the operational piece. So as I moved from IT over to contact center operations, then to business transformation as a whole, I got that broader view of the entire business, and that technology isn't just technology. Technology is an enabler to enhance operational efficiencies, to drive revenue. And so pulling and peeling that onion just a little bit more to identify those additional areas on the operational side is really key to any ROI. The other piece that I think is absolutely critical is to take a look at this year over year. Your first year is not going to enable you to have as many savings as your second or third year. As you continue to iterate, as you continue to change your processes, learn, adopt the solutions, I found the sweet spot about year 2.5, 3, that you're really hitting your strides with your operational efficiencies, with your savings. And so it is this combination of understanding and level setting, number one, on, hey, year 0 is a year of change. And that change curve where you have that trough of despair before you have the enlightenment. You've got to build that into your ROI model. Otherwise, you're going to miss your targets year 0, year 1, and you're going to be explaining why. So there's quite a bit that goes into building a comprehensive and accurate ROI, for sure.
One of the things that I found personally, like when I first started really getting into, calculating ROI, was that when you present it to people that have been in the contact center, they have dealt with the difficult customer, the difficult employee, and they've had highs and lows. And so they can recognize something that just doesn't smell right, doesn't sound right, really quickly. And because they have such little time, they communicate it back to you really quickly. And so I think you learn to have that inner discernment as well, don't you? I mean, you because you had that experience in the contact center, I would imagine that was massively instrumental in you being able to look at that and go, that doesn't look right.
Absolutely. And, as I take a look at ROIs, the last thing I want to do is overpromise or overproject ROIs. I will sit there and build in as much contingency as I can in ROIs, because what I want at the end of the day is those contact center leaders, especially the salty ones, to be able to overachieve their numbers. And so it is, let's underpromise, overdeliver at the end of the day. And it isn't just leave your technology and let it run. You're going to continue to, you've got to continue to be left brain here and analytical and understand all of the inputs. One of the hardest things I had in the contact center operations is explaining average handle time, because you expect it to go down, but there's so many different inputs that happen over the course of a month, a year, 2 years, that play into average handle time. It could be something that is completely outside of your realm of control. For instance, if you've got a website upgrade and that's causing your handle time to go a little bit longer because of defects there. And so you've got to continue to analyze, because your technology may not be or your transformation may not be falling short of your expectations. It could be other areas come into play as well that are convoluting the numbers a bit.
When you moved over into Ring Central and you started doing this kind of on a regular, I would imagine that you probably took construct and methods and worksheets that you had created, you had to take them to another level. Like you had to really match them to the operations, to the product, to all the KPIs. You've got to be able to say, where am I moving the dial on each one of these things? Was that important for you to build out those critical frameworks?
Oh, 100%, absolutely. And there is variation as well. So thinking about it from my customer hat and where I sat previously, I had, just very finite verticals that I was working in. I worked in financial services for a little bit and a retail type of vertical for a little bit. So I had those lenses. And as I expanded that into my Ring Central role, looking at all of the various different verticals, certainly there's some variation there, especially when it comes to things such as containment rate and how different that is in terms of use cases and containment rates. So broadening that piece of my knowledge base was absolutely critical, as well as expanding the tools, taking them up a notch. But certainly the foundation that I've had from sitting in the buyer's seat, from being that IT practitioner, from being that customer service contact center practitioner, really helped to translate into that larger consulting role for sure.
Cool. I love it.